Hey, welcome to Keith's Keys. This week, we got mail. Greetings, everybody. My name is Keith Harris. This is Keith's Keys. And if you've watched the program a little bit, you know that at the end of each video, I say, hey, if you have any questions I can answer, please email them to me. And somebody actually did. So we're going to respond to some fan mail today. Hello, Keith. Thank you for your videos. Thank you. You're welcome. I think what you're doing is quite interesting, and I enjoy seeing what new topics you'll come up with each week. Cool. Thank you. This might not be the kind of thing you're looking for, but since you asked for questions, I thought I'd put it out there. I'm a music teacher in the Midwest. Love the Midwest. I grew up in Wisconsin. A decent program with good kids. And at least for now, the principal has promised she will not cut the music program. I mean, right there's a reason to celebrate, right? Oh, wonderful. Tell your principal I am already a huge supporter and I don't even know what city you're from. That is huge. My question is, how do you get students to sing classical music? Ah, yes, all right, I try to keep an interesting program with a variety of songs, but classical music often gets written off as old music. Not always, but I thought maybe since you sing old music, as your job, you might be able to share how you got into it and why you like it. Thank you for your time. I'm a little bit shy, so please don't read my name. Yours truly. All right, that's cool. Yeah, you know what? Great question. And thank you for asking that. I really appreciate that. Well, first of all, I'm still caught up on your principle. Keeping music in the schools is huge. Just having access to your students and the ability that we can have this conversation, that's big. I mean, so many teachers now, we can't even have this conversation. So just be grateful on your worst day. On the day you go in and you think, why am I still a teacher? Just be really grateful you still have a program. How to make music pertinent to students. Why do I sing old people music? Let's actually turn that around a little bit. I actually think if you make music pertinent to the student, right? If you give them some reason to connect to it, then it's not old people music. Because honestly, I don't think there's old music and there's new music. There's good music. And music done well is good music. And if students understand it, or if they have personal buy-in to it, then they'll like it. And you may find, and sometimes they'll enjoy the challenge, or they'll enjoy the interest of doing something, and not everything you try is going to work. But if they understand kind of essentially why they're doing it, other than this is good for you, right? Like when my mom made me eat green vegetables as a kid. Why? This is good for you. No, we got to go a little deeper than that. And if we go in a little deeper than that, then I think you'll find a different kind of dedication or appreciation. So, for example, singers today, as kids today, love the vocal riff. The riff is huge, but the riff is not new. The riff is just what the riff is the new word for a cadenza. So break that down. Ask your students, hey, how many of you can riff? How many of you like to riff? What is the purpose? What is the point? What does it add to the music? Start to break it down. Then once they have these things and the riff is so great, then you start to back it up a style or up a century and say, oh, well, is this similar? Is this the same kind? Do you think you could do that? Another thing is taking history and breaking it down into bigger chunks, for example. All right? And here's just a huge brushstroke, for example. So early on in America's history, right, you had the Vikings come across the north, all the Nordic music, Celtic music, all this pouring into the north. Africans coming into the south with very interesting drums and rhythms. And it's no surprise at all, to me anyway, that Memphis was the home of rock and roll. You had these instruments and styles and these instruments and styles coming from the north and the south, and boom, they met in Memphis. And what are all the different versions that happened? Well, in the south, of course, we had country, you had bluegrass, you had jazz, so many things coming together. And so when you look at that historically, you might even just take a piece of it and say, oh, how many of you like rock and roll? What's your favorite thing about rock and roll? Oh, I love drums. Oh, you like drums. Do you know where the drums come from? What kind of rhythms we have? You could do just a whole study in African music and African rhythms And suddenly, students would be singing who knows how old or different kinds of music and really digging this whole genre, this whole specialty of area. Another thing might be how music has always played a very interesting role in politics, right? And so the Marriage of Figaro, right? Who's the buffoon in the opera? Well, it's the Count. It's the king. That was not okay. But you don't make fun of the king, and certainly his servants are not smarter than him. But Mozart, had fun with this, made fun of that. Well, that kind of commentary, that kind of Saturday Night Live type of show, has been going on for ages. And if you start with Saturday Night Live, and you work your way backwards toward it, now there's some historical interest, there's some context, there's a way it relates to them in the modern day. And they might say, well, that's kind of cool, can we sing that? And once we have that personal connection, then it's no longer old people's music. So I hope you find that useful. If you do, please send me a letter again and tell me how your students respond to that. And thank you so much for writing. Anybody else who's watching this, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, or please visit sing4pay.com, sing4pay.com. I offer lots of tips and advice for singers. Subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and if you have something you'd like to ask me, please email me. KeithHarrisTraining@gmail.com.